everyone, and welcome to an episode of Awful Creepypasta that is kind of special, but not really.
Yep.
We are joined by the famous Eric.
I'm not that famous.
You're pretty famous in my book.
Pulls out a book.
Anyway,
This is my book.
today's story is called, we have a few stories today, but today's first story was sent to me by a friend, and it is called Scary Stories Skype Conversation.
Riveting.
This one's really creepy. I absolutely promise you it is.
Yeah, you can have your money back if at the end you're not satisfied.
The other day, I was talking to an online friend of mine over Skype.
Really?
She said, "Some weird things have been happening to me lately." I replied with a quick,
Sure, tell me.
I never really believed in this whole ghost or paranormal things. So, until now, I'm a bit nervous, and I think I might be just overreacting, but the doctors haven't found anything psychologically wrong with me, so, question mark. You're just gonna think I'm crazy, then tell me now, because I'll just leave. What?
I don't know.
I could tell from her reluctance that this must have been really freaking her out, I assured her. Okay, here it goes then, she said, and then typed up her story. It began a few weeks ago, after I read some ridiculous chain letter that I didn't forward. I don't think... What? I didn't think anything of it because, like I said...
I didn't believe in that stuff.
And the chain letter was something about creatures wearing human skin that blend in with humans, I don't know. I don't think it's really related, but it started after I deleted it. It first started at the market. While I was in line, I noticed that the bagger was staring at me.
The bagger.
That's terrifying.
The bagger.
He was smiling a bit too uncomfortably at me. Like he wasn't using his muscles to smile. What?
I don't know.
It was more like someone took two fingers to his cheek and pulled upwards to draw the corner of his lips into a smile, question mark? I know, that sounds way stupid, doesn't it? Yes.
Yes, it really does.
Anyways, I smiled politely at him and took my groceries from the end of the belt when he finished bagging them. The word bagging is not scary.
Bagging.
Anyway. I freed up a hand and I thanked him for his service.
Great.
And that's when it happened. His lips moved and he said in a deep voice, "You're welcome, miss." I stood there in complete shock. I figured I must have been exhausted because there's no way that just happened.
Okay, we're done.
He was polite. Oh no.
Oh my god. The
A
next
person in a
day,
grocery store was polite.
I was walking down the
Can't
street.
believe grocery store.
The air was chill and cold, and I was enjoying all the smells and sensations of the upcoming fall.
Smells and sensations. Lovely.
That's when it happened again. I saw a woman staring at me.
She said thank you.
I screamed! She didn't take her eyes off me. She had that same eerie smile. It was uncomfortable. As she got closer to me, she parted her lips and spoke to me. "Nice weather today, isn't it, miss?" And then nodded and kept on walking. I stopped in my tracks once more.
Oh no.
Get this,
People
get this.
are talking to me.
I stopped in my tracks once more. It was dizzying because of its impossibility.
It was dizzying because the weather was terrible.
Several other people spoke to me since then.
Assuming that before then nobody ever spoke to you.
It was
Oh my
always
gosh. People are speaking to me.
This can't be happening.
It was always innocuous. That's not spelled right. Things like, "Need any help today, ma'am?" or "You're looking lovely today." Nothing vicious. The strangers were all very friendly, albeit with that same creepy grin. But the mere fact it was happening was terrifying, and yet also strangely hope-bringing.
Are we?
Does that sound right?
Okay.
No.
So you're getting terrified that people are saying thank you and stuff, and you're like, this is terrifying.
Oh my gosh, this is
But
a
it's
creepypasta.
hope-bringing.
This is a creepypasta
It
where
can't
my
be
life
nice.
gets better.
They can't be nice in a creepypasta.
How is this hope-bringing?
I don't know, but
Oh.
soon Everywhere I went, I would hear voices of certain people I was near exchanging pleasantries with me. I even told my doctor this, and he assured me that, no, it isn't possible that this could happen, and yet I know it is. It is happening to me. Frankly, I was confused. Look,
Your doctor told you it's impossible for people to have small talk with you.
look, that's great and all, but people talking to you and saying nice things isn't at all a paranormal experience, even if they smile weird. It was the next thing she said that changed my mind. And that's the response most people would have. But here's the thing. Somehow I am hearing these people talk when I can't hear anything else. I don't hear birds. I don't hear cars driving down the street. I don't hear the tapping of the keys on my keypad. I don't hear anything. I don't hear because I have been fully deaf since I was 4. How did he... Okay. That's the end of
How
that
are you
story.
talking?
First of
you.
all,
Thank
I mean,
you.
I'm not even like trying to be mean,
Thank you.
but like,
Thank
how
you.
could you be talking to someone like if you were deaf? You know, like when you talk to someone, like deaf
Uh-huh.
people talk, they're like, because they literally cannot, like, talk because they can't hear themselves.
Yeah.
Like, and how was she talking to her doctor?
Yeah.
The doctor was, it's like,
The
doctor, everyone's being nice to me, and then he does that creepy smile. You're pretty.
No, you see, the doctor's just very good at sign language, and he's doing it very fast.
All right. So the next pasta we have is a bit longer. It's not that bad.
Are you
And by
sure?
it's not that bad, I mean it's probably one of the worst ones we're gonna read. This
Honestly, that
this is
last
called
one is
look
quite
at this,
bad.
Bloodthirsty. How disgusting does this look?
Oh my gosh, it's
Single
so
paragraph.
long.
I'll read
No, it really isn't that long. Look.
Are you gonna read it? I don't know.
Aw.
Okay, Bloodthirsty. Well,
By
everything
Dirtbot.
started when I first was heading to my girlfriend's house that day. Girlfriend's no apostrophe, so he's got like 5. And that day she was supposed to be going to the doctors, and doctors, like a bunch of doctors. And I had spent the whole day with her when she had left to go to the doctors, I was watching her house, and the whole day I spent with her, things started to happen. When I was with her, she seemed to be ignoring me, and I had removed her headphones, and she had started crying bad. And I
She had
didn't know
started
why.
crying
But
bad
someone had accused me of strangling her, but I'm not sure if it was true.
I don't know if I strangled her.
Hey, remember that?
Or if I had blacked out or what, and then I started yelling at those people, and I think I might have lost consciousness again.
What
And I was
people?
comforting my girlfriend when I seemingly woke up, and she was still crying, and for some reason my shirt was missing when I woke up, and I was sad at the fact that she was crying, and I was sad to be choking her, and I was cold, so I had found my jacket, and I decided I was going to I was going to hang out at my nearby school, and I crossed by these teens, and I just realized I had knives. And I had also realized that there was a pocket knife in my jacket pocket, and I looked at it and I blacked out and seen that the kids no longer had arms. And I assumed that I had removed them with the knife. No, keep in mind, this has literally been 3 sentences.
Excuse me. What is that?
Okay.
Are we done here? Oh man, keep going.
Okay, so, and I assumed that I had removed them with the knife, and I had ran away to say nothing to anyone, and they never found out, and then my girlfriend finally came back from the doctors, and she asked what I had been doing, and I said, I can't remember. And she says, why? And I say, I think I might have an issue. And then she wanted me to check out the door because someone had been banging at the door, and it turned out to be the teens' friends, and they tried to stab me in the side until I knocked one of them
How
out
do you
and
know
grabbed
it's
the
the
other
teens'
teen's hand
friends?
before he could try and stab me, and then I take the knife and stab one in the shoulder to keep him down while I try to focus on the other 2 that had came.
That was the end of the sentence.
That was one sentence.
This has been
Can
3
we
sentences
Can we
so far.
analyze what happened in that sentence? Because
So this guy
oh my
blacked
God.
out like 5 times. He thought he removed some dude's arms with a pocket knife.
That he just happened to have in his
Also,
jacket.
he can't remember if he strangled this person. He didn't know if it was true.
Alright, let's start this next sentence because
Okay.
I might be doing it for a couple years.
Oh boy.
One had been knocked out, the other had been stabbed in the shoulder, which leaves me with one more, and he had a pellet rifle, and he had shot me in the mouth, and it busted my gums, and I started to bleed from my mouth, and he
had
started
shot
to
me in
laugh,
the mouth.
and I
I
asked,
died.
what's so funny? And he said, you're weak. And I said, oh, really? And jumped onto him and pulled the pellet rifle out of his hands and slams him in the face. Ted swap. And slams him in the face with the butt of the gun, and I feel a stinging pain in my back. Blood drips. Back's blood dripped.
In
He's got like 6 backs. And I look behind me and find one of the 3 teenagers with the knife, and I hit him with the butt of the rifle. Then I took the knife and stabbed him in the heart, and I said, "Does blood taste good?" And he died.
Excuse me, why are you murdering people again?
And then the kid with the knife in the shoulder had just gotten back up and had suffered from the fall, and he tried to hit me, and I'd gotten away fast enough and kicked him in the jaw twice and dislocated, then kicked inside his mouth and ripped all the skin that was around the mouth apart, then stabbed his throat, which killed him.
What?
What?
Alright, just imagine this from the point of the person who types this out. I think this is scary.
You
If
ready?
I read this, I would find this very
Ready?
terrifying.
Okay, real quick.
That's why it's on
We're going to take a
Creepypasta.
short break
Crappy
from
pasta.
this, and I'm going to write like this guy does. I was walking down the street,
When I saw
the street
When I
stream,
saw Insane
when I
Clown
saw
Posse.
a man, and he was walking with the
thing
aliens, and then I decided to
Black out.
stab them,
Stab
save
you them.
but then I blacked out
Then in black
on
out
the
pavement.
and the man with the tan flakjack falk
Falcon. Who cares?
Ja-
Let's get back to it.
Black
Claro.
Falcon Punch.
exploded,
And you missed an
and
arm.
Then I found a pocket poker
A coker knife.
knife in my Euro
No.
man in the face.
Ear.
The end.
Alright.
I was walking down the street when I saw a man and was walking with the aliens, and then I decided to stab them, but then I blacked out on the pavement, and the man with the Tin Falca Jacoto explode, and then I found a poker knife in Euro and in the face. The end.
Yeah, that makes a little bit more sense.
That makes a bit more sense than
than
this.
what we're reading.
Right, back to the story. Where am I?
Where were we?
Okay. The last teen had jumped on top of me and pulled out a combat knife and stabbed my left leg and practically immobilized me and made me have a bad limp. And
A bad
I
limp.
still got back up and reached for the pellet rifle, and he had stabbed me again as I was reaching for it. And by that time, I'd already suffered from 3 wounds, and I was bleeding but bad. But I had crawled to the rifle, and the teen got close. And my girlfriend came out
And I almost stabbed her.
and I had almost stabbed her, thinking that she was one of the teens that she was going to try and take me inside, help me with the wounds, until I told her to go inside. But my voice sounded like I was trying to say it underwater, and she couldn't understand me. And I ran as fast as I could to go get her inside, and her maid go as she was horrified at the sight. Then I got the pellet rifle and hit the teen in the head with it, and pulled the pocket knife out and stabbed the teen in his right leg, and then pulled the knife down. He screamed. Then he got back up and grabbed me by the arm and said, "I'm going to kill you!" And I spat blood in his face, and he tried to wipe it off,
Really?
and I took
Was
his
that
hand off my
necessary?
throat. I took his hand off my throat and I kicked him in the wound, and he fell to the ground. I stabbed him in the chest with the knife and he died. Then I realized there was someone watching me, and it was the only witness, my girlfriend. She hasn't spoke to anyone, I believe, but something snapped that day, and now she and I act different. That was a month ago, and the day after the incident, I was taken to the doctors to check to see if my injuries were
The
infected
day
and
after
any
the
broken
incident,
bones.
I was
But
in
I
the jail.
only had
I
a
was in jail for 7 years.
I only had a few cuts that needed to be... These guys stabbed him in the face like 4 times. I only had a few cuts. Nice.
Also, why isn't he in
2
jail?
weeks in, I got another killing because I found a rich neighborhood that me and my girlfriend moved into 3 weeks ago, and these people that had been walking around my block said that I looked pretty tough and had tried to fight me, and obviously they had knives on them, and one of them had tried to stab me, and I had grabbed his hand and broke his wrist, and then he fell, and then the other had ran into my gut and slammed through my house door, and we fell into the hallway.
This is
What
what
is
America
going
is
on?
like. No.
So they did the opposite of Orion. Instead of slamming randomly into the street, they slammed into the house.
Yeah, pretty much. Really, just
Next to
tell
the
us
hallway
what
was
the
our
fuck is
laundry room,
funny.
which had, as a normal laundry room would have, was a laundry stuff and bleach. And it spilled on both of our heads, and while he tried to see, I pulled out my knife and stabbed him in his forearm, and he finally could see and tried to find something hard, and I pulled the knife from his arm and stabbed him some more, and then put it in his eye and left him there. Then the other 2 came, and one already had a broken wrist, so he couldn't really do much with a left hand. So I found a wooden pole and hit him in the head with it, and stabbed him in the guts. All that's left is a guy who looks like he works out every 2 hours for an hour, and he has a crowbar. Do you want to try reading this? Because I can't.
Okay, so my...
Where are you?
Let's see.
Oh, man.
Where's the crowbar thing? Right
So
here.
Apparently getting
So,
stabbed
all that's left
transforms
is
into
a guy who looks like he works out every 2 hours for an hour, and he has a crowbar.
So I run up to him and he hits me in the head with a bottle of beer, and it was just a full.
It was a full bottle,
too. So when I throw a combat knife at him and I missed, and I find a long metal rod and I notice the tip is flat, and I stab him with it, and he bleeds and pulls it out and places it on the ground and starts laughing, and I say, "What is so damn funny?" And he said, "This is more."
Are covered in alcohol.
And
I
he
didn't know
lights
what
a
that meant,
match
'cause
and
it was
throws it at me,
pouring
and
the-
I light on fire and picked up the rod and threw it at him, and thankfully hit him right in the throat, and he dropped to the ground, and my girlfriend just got out of the shower. Just got out of the shower
And quickly douse the fire.
and quickly doused the fire and took me to the hospital. She asked if I would be alright when we got there, and they said, "We can't tell right."
No. We can't tell right away, but he looks like he has some severe burns all across his body, and his hair might be a permanent color of black.
Then I realized, how would I know this?
Then I
was
realized this
knocked
is the
out.
worst Jeff the Killer ripoff ever. And then they had to bandage my face up because of the bleach and burns, and so I sat there for a week as I had to get better.
Okay,
A
don't read
week
it
has
like that.
gone by, and the doctor took off the bandages, and when she did, my girlfriend looked shocked, and when I spoke, I sounded different, and what I said was, "What's wrong with my face? Is there something different about this?" And what the had noticed was that my face was a pure ghost white and my skin had melted over my nose. There was no longer a nose. I was no longer me. So I went back home with my girlfriend after getting all the stuff that I had worn when I went to the hospital, and when I got home everything was fixed like it never happened. All went well. I woke up at 3 in the morning when I first saw my face, and when I went to the bathroom, and I nearly died by surprise when I noticed I was like a ghost. So I laughed, and I was so happy I couldn't stop smiling at my new face, but it started to hurt. So I decided to cut a smile in my face, and it looks great, but I don't want to stop looking at it, so I burned off my eyelids, and my girlfriend woke up because of my laughing, and she said, "Baby, what are you doing?" And walked up to me, and I smiled, and she said, "Please don't hurt yourself," and went back to sleep. I kill now, but not my girlfriend. Go to sleep!
Are you kidding me?
Was that the worst thing we've ever read?
That was the worst thing we've ever read.
No.
That was a rip-off of the worst thing we've ever read.
Okay, here we go. Let's read some comments.
Excuse
You
me?
read comment by Juinator.
I'll read one.
You go. You do this one.
I know.
No, let me do this one. This is hilarious. I know, but what Jeff killed my GF said that I yelled, "Sleep now, go to sleep," and he got my face smiling. Jeff. All thing went like this: random word placement, no commas, no dots, and of course, our beloved Jeff the Killer. 4 out of 10.
You gave it 4? I
I'll read the
wouldn't
next
even have given it 0. I would
No,
have
actually,
given
no.
it
You should
out
read
of 10.
Eric, read this one.
I did this, and then I did that, and then I fought a platoon of bullets because I badass, and I do this, and then I burn a girlfriend, get out of shower, and douse fire with golden shower, presumably, and I go hospital, then cut smile in face, and I like so much I burn eyelids, and now I kill but not girlfriend because she run away, because now I ugly fuck, and now I even go more. I go sleep.
Perfect. Let's see.
Oh no, not
Alfred Frederick
Fred-
Dinglebottom returns.
No.
I
I'll read.
woke up with my imaginary girlfriend. It was my hand. I walked downstairs and I locked myself in the fridge. Then I strangled my mom and I left the house. Then I walked to a park and then I blacked out or something. I woke up, I was topless and strangling a duck. When then I walked to a set of swings and swung them. I must have blacked out. I woke up and was strangling a Pixar character and then everything died and I said, "Go to sleep. Go to sleep." The end. Something like that anyway. How long did this take you to write?
Sir Bartholomew Pencil Neck says, "I was doing something innocuous or benevolent, and then suddenly something terrible occurs, and then an overused mem appears, and blood and stuff, and then a carbon copy of the story behind the overused mem somehow finds its way into the story because scary! And a delusion of being an amazing writer become apparent to everyone reading this, and then 400 million uses of and appear because the keyboard the author is using does not have a comma key, and use friggin' Periods! They aren't just for girls. Excuse me? Oh yeah, Alfred Frederick Dinglebond. I have a great
Anonymous sums up the entire experience for me. That was literally 15 sentences. And on that note,
are you sure you would call those sentences?
This has been a actually kind of long episode of Awful Creepypasta,
Yeah,
but one of the funniest ones, and it probably, I mean, for being a long story, that had literally 15 sentences. Sentences.
It was 15 minutes.
Sentences. Horses. And the
Never.
15 horses.
We're done. We're done.
You know who else is done?
Oh, I thought you were gonna. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, remember to like, comment, and if you haven't done already, subscribe for more future content. If you have a request for a future pasta that we should do, leave it in the comments and we'll probably get around to it. Not much else to say here, so I'll see you next week. Goodbye.